Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. So, as you can probably tell already, I've been hard at work doing some, branding stuff for the channel. One of the things being, uh, this stream overlay that I made. It's nothing too fancy, but I like how it looks. And then also, if people subscribe during the streams, it should also send alerts during them now. So I can make it, I can do like a test one, just to show it off. Hello. Oh. Let me... The one thing I wasn't able to test is how the chat overlay works. And it looks like it showed your name, but it cut off the message entirely. So, yeah, the beginning of the stream is probably just going to be me tweaking a few things for a little bit, but hopefully that shouldn't take too long. Okay, so it's not cutting it off, because it's weird that it's displaying it from bottom to top. I thought it would go from top to bottom, but I don't know why it is cutting off your message either. Hmm. Is it... Wait, the text is there? But the text is in black for some reason. Let me check on... Stream Elements. Yeah, I didn't realize there was a separate color for the chat name and the text itself. That's an easy fix, though. Or at least I hoped it would be. It was set to, like... I think it was set to, like, transparent. Or somewhere between black and transparent, which is weird. I don't know why that would be the default color for it. Yeah, now I just gotta find a good size for it. That didn't feel like it changed the size at all. Here, why don't I do this, at least for now? Now they should stay on screen permanently, and I can see better what I'm changing. Or they won't. I guess I have to save the overlay again. Now they should stay permanently. This is my first time working with stream overlays and stuff, so it's just gonna be a little bit of a learning experience, but hopefully it shouldn't take too long to get set up. I wonder how it's gonna display the emotes. Oh, that's how it displays the emotes. Oh, that's stretching it. It's weird that it's displaying it from bottom to top instead of top to bottom, but I guess it's not a big deal. And the other thing I want to see... I know it had it set to where the username was a different color than the text, but I only see an option for the text color. I don't see an option for the username color. Hello. I'm just working on tweaking a few overlay things right now before I start playing. Better which way? Do you mean like it scrolling from bottom to top, or the chat name being the same color, or the chatter name being the same color? I think it'd be nice for the chatter name to just stand out a little bit, but like I said, I'm not seeing the option for it, which is weird because by default it was a different color. You guys want to talk in Comic Sans? I can do that. Okay, what's going on now? I see the chat overlay working in Streamlabs. Now it's not actually working on the stream itself. That's cool. The Comic Sans broke the stream chat. It's too powerful. Okay, now it showed up all of a sudden. So, I think we're good? At least for now. Yeah, I might look into tweaking it a little bit more later on, but for now, I think it's okay how it is. I do want to move the song title just a little. I wish testing the chat overlay was something I could do off-stream. That's one of the few things that Streamlabs doesn't allow you to simulate. Like, I can... if it lets me do it. Yeah, I can do, like, that to simulate people subscribing and stuff, but I can't simulate chat messages.
Lol sent a super chat saying Comic Sans.
Holy crap, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for donating, and thank you for letting me actually test that out. Yeah, it'll... if people do super chats, it'll read it as a text-to-speech. Is the text-to-speech loud enough, or do I need to make it louder? Because I can hear it on my end, but also what I'm hearing on my end, music-wise, is much louder than what you're hearing. Was it too loud, or was it just fine how it was? Because I don't want to like blow people's ears out, but I also want them to be able to hear it read out. Oh, I gotta fix my controls. Had to do the icy missions on this profile again. So I had to rebind my interact
sent a
key.
super chat saying.
There's a 2-second delay on when the... Oh yeah, also... Okay. Did it read out the actual donation message when you put a message in there? Or did it just cut off after a saying? Because I had it do both things when I was testing it. You put Comic Sans in the first one. Here, I'll just simulate it so you don't have to keep wasting money. I can simulate it. Okay. The only thing...
Isaiah_Durgan3 sent a super chat saying.
Yeah, I can't put a message when I simulate it for some reason. It's weird because when I'm in, like, the editor and doing it that way, it'll simulate if it's saying a message. But when I simulate it on the actual stream itself, it doesn't do that. Anyways, I lowered the volume a little bit, so... The delay is longer than 2 seconds. I shouldn't really have much delay on like the stream itself. The only delay I have set for is for the chat to show up. That's more of like a safety feature in the future. If I have like moderators in here and somebody posts something that I don't want shown on stream, they'll have time to delete it first. Anyways, how does the text-to-speech volume sound
sent
now?
a super chat saying.
Let me check something else too real quick while people are answering that. I need to put maybe like a background or something behind the subscribe thing, or make it have like a shadow so it's more readable. For now, I'll just try to throw a random asset on there. There'll be something I can make an asset for later. I didn't think the readability would be that much of a problem, but seeing it now with the game running, it looks a lot different. Putting a background behind there might be something I have to mess with later. I see, like, how to add a background to it in Stream Elements, but the problem is I don't see how to resize it really, or rotate it. And it's gonna be way too big, how it's set right now. That's something I can mess with off-screen, though. And I can just make, like, a custom asset for it, instead of using a default one. Let me check this real quick.
Carly69 sent a super chat saying,
Oops. I did put a shadow on it, but it's really not noticeable. That'll be something I'll have to test, or I'll have to mess around with off stream. I don't want to spend too much time tinkering with the stream right now. As long as it's at least mostly functional for now. Yeah, the combos on this monitor are really crazy. I kind of wonder if we'll ever see an English player actually get on there. I'm pretty sure they're all combos just taken from Bilibili, which is the Chinese version of YouTube in a way. This game has a promo code feature? I never realized that. Okay, let's look at mine crystals. I can't believe they haven't fixed the text here in this screen. I don't understand why they did this. And I left a suggestion immediately after it came out. It never got fixed or anything. The text being just like mashed up against the assets here, and then especially the text, it's almost to the point of where it's overlapping in some places. It really bothers me. I wish I had, like, one more... If I had one more Mind Crystal slot, I would be set. Because if I want to run, like, a full defensive combo, I need these two for sure. And then this one got buffed, so I think it's really useful to take now. But if you take this, you're also kind of required to take this one, because you don't start with an escape death. But I really like my potential refreshes, my shop discounts, and the MP. But if I have to give up any of them, I guess I can give up the MP. Yeah, like, it just makes no sense to not have these spaced out better, to where, for one, the text would be better aligned with it, with the dots, and then it wouldn't be so mashed together either. And the thing that doesn't make sense is that this screen used to look way better. There used to be more of a background behind where the text was to help separate things out, and then it was kind of spaced out better too. So they just like they completely downgraded the screen for some reason in one of the patches. Like, I'm by no means a professional level graphic designer or anywhere close to it, but I've worked enough with graphic design that seeing something like that really bothers me. So I think we're going to start with Lambda runs, and then if I'm able to beat it with Lambda, I'll probably go over to Icy. I want to mess around with Thunder and Lightning on Lambda. It's a fun build to go for her. It doesn't quite do as good of DPS as some of the other builds, but where it really shines is that it will just completely delete normal runes. So that might be worth it as a time save. But I think really, if I'm running into issues, it's going to be more in the boss fights than it is normal rooms, but I want to try out the build for fun. So the way that it works is that when you hit enemies with your skill, it puts the impulse on them, and then they explode when they die. But also, the red effect called Thunder and Lightning makes it where anytime a chain lightning hits an enemy that has an impulse on them, it detonates the impulse. So basically we have the benefits of impulses, and then we basically have a frost burst effect on top of that, while also having the chain lightning damage. It's really strong for AoE room clearing damage. And then it does give you some boss damage on top of that, just by kind of having that burst effect. It really depends on the run I'm doing and the build I'm doing. If I stick with more legacy tactics, or if I stick mostly with legacy tactics, or if I buy other ones. Selling tactics is a good strategy, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. There are some tactics builds which work a lot better with more tactics, and there are some characters too that work better with more tactics. I tried to overgeneralize things way too much when I made that video that I ended up taking down. Like, for one example, I think Kokonoe is one character that benefits from having a lot more tactics than some of the other ones, because I think having Black Hole on her makes her feel a lot better to play in the early stages. She doesn't have a good way to deal a lot of AoE damage early on, unless you're getting, like, very certain potentials. And then the other thing that I really didn't mention is that the damage bonuses that you're getting from potential stacking are also a little bit better or worse depending on which character you're playing. So characters like Lambda and Hakumen especially has very high base damage values, so they scale very well off the potential damage bonus. But then a character like Noelle or Jin doesn't quite have as high of base damage values, so they don't scale quite as well, and they can work with tactics better sometimes. I'll probably look for... Ice Spikes would be good, but I think I already have enough AoE damage, and I'm not running a Frost, so I don't need them for Frost Burst. Also, another thing I didn't talk about in that video is that the value of utility tactics. Things like Black Hole, things like Legacy Flash. Especially if you set up Legacy Flash with Holy Marks, it makes a good combination of red effects to where your Holy Marks start applying Flash for you. And having that mischance on boss fights is something that can make a huge difference. Video would have been fine if I had explained things a bit differently than I did. And I put a little bit too much emphasis on tactics being weak when I should have given them a lot more credit than I did. Also, like I said, I just tried to generalize things way too much. There's no one situation where one strategy is going to be better than the other between taking a lot of tactics or selling a lot of tactics. It kind of just depends on your tactic setup, your character, and how you like to play, your playstyle. And Sweeper has 100,000 HP, and that's the first boss. I don't even want to know how much HP Susano's gonna have. I don't remember how much HP Reki had when I did it on Rachel. Is leveling the frog worth it? Probably not. Though I can have multiple frogs out at the same time, if they don't die. I wish they would give us more information. Like, when they say frog strength, do they mean it's HP? Do they mean it's damage? I think leveling Jin's freeze to last longer is, like, the better option. It's just not a very interesting option, in my opinion. Well, we could go for HP stacking, I guess. I don't think it'll be too difficult to perfect clear, especially once I get some of my potentials going. The part where this build gets really crazy is when I unlock triple jump for the hidden effect with the portals. Because the portals that get spawned when you do triple jump count as a skill hit. So they'll automatically be applying the impulses to everything, and then everything will probably just start exploding from that point on. I've got a really bad set of debuffs going on. I think I started with butterflies and the bombs, and now there's also the Thunder effect, and MP recovery is going to be a pain in the ass. I hate that debuff, especially when I'm playing a character like Lambda. Really like to see triple jump. This is also pretty useful for heavy attacks, so I guess I'll pick it up. And then, since this is 150 cost, I'm pretty sure it's a Tactic Ascension. I think Ascensions are the only thing that are 150 now. Wait. Or is the 125 the Ascension? And then the 150 is HP and MP. What are these prices? Do they shuffle things? Or am I just going crazy? No, 150 is the potential. Why did I think they were more expensive? And then 100 should be the Tactic Ascensions. I think Potentials and HP and MP are the same price now. And then Ascensions are the ones that are cheaper. Oh, right. The different tactic rarities also have their own separate costs. I don't know why I thought Potentials were like 100 though. It's funny how I've seen these price costs over like hundreds of runs that I do, but then as soon as they're hidden, I forget everything. Hello, and welcome to the stream. Oh, this advanced space effect, it's just going to add to the amount of shit going on screen. There's literally everything that can spawn off of enemies spawning off of enemies right now. There's the thunder, the bombs, and then the additional thunder from the advanced room. Do I need to max out Flash? Yes, I do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into everything on high entropy. But I also don't think I really Well, let's just take the lightning upgrade. It's the safer option. Yeah, I think Lambda's base damage is just way too high. Before Rachel came out, I always considered her to be the strongest character in the game. But I don't know how much of that is also just bias, because she's my favorite character to play. And then, later on, I also found out how ridiculous Hakumen's base damage is. So he might be what I'd consider the number 2 slot behind Rachel. And then after that, like, Lambda and Kokonoe pretty much get to the same damage range eventually. So have I considered a video where I explain the build ahead of time and then just run the character? That's a little bit of an interesting concept. What that would allow me to do is, like, cut down some runs so they're, like, 20 to 30 minute videos instead of hour-long videos. Because the problem is, I hate trying to cut footage for this game into more of, like, the highlight type of stuff. Because It's weird when you do that, unless you somehow, like, show every tactic and potential that you're picking up. Because things could change a lot between just a couple of rooms. So that might be something to consider, just, like, explaining the entire build ahead of time. The other reason why I do like explaining things throughout the entire course of the run is that I'm just really awful at making, like, small talk in videos and filling empty space with commentary. So that's why doing, like, the educational commentary has always been what's worked really well for me. I do fine with speaking if there's an objective, like I'm trying to teach people something, or if there's, like, a conversation going on, like in the live stream, where we can have a conversation going back and forth. But otherwise, I'm really bad at filling dead air in commentary otherwise. Oh, I mean, yeah, if I do it unedited, and like I said, if I explain the build ahead of time, and I try to do, like, unedited commentary throughout the entire run, then I have no idea what I would say. That's good that you don't get the impression from the commentary, but like I said, for me, there's a big difference between if I'm speaking for an objective to, like, explain things that I want to talk about, and just finding random things to talk about. Okay, so let's see. Wait, is this... You have a 2% chance to change your own HP to 150%. Does that mean even if I'm above 150%, then I just lower my HP? If it said heal for 150%, then it'd be different. Also, I think I would probably just get myself completely killed if I drop down to 5% at a bad time. And I think if this one was the combo counter one, I would take it immediately. But the problem is if I drop my kill streak in boss fights, I can't get it back. And I will screw myself over that way too. And then I don't really care about being immune to the first hit of each battle, even if I am clearing most of the spaces perfectly. Oh yeah, there's lots of ways to plan your build in Entropy Effect. Basically, unless you're on 100, which at that point you have to reduce your potential selections and room choices and like shops, that type of thing. Otherwise, there's really not that much stopping you from going into a run with a very specific plan and being able to get that plan every single time you play. That's honestly one of the reasons why I've put so much hours into this game. I am not typically someone that enjoys roguelikes, but with Blazblue, there's a combination of... I just think the characters control extremely well, and there's enough of that type of thing that I can do in order to kind of pretend like it's not a roguelike in a way. Most of that comes through, like I said, if you're not on 100 entropy, you don't have limited selections on your potentials and your shops and stuff. And then there's a couple of mine crystals. Where is it? The +6 refreshes on potential discovery mine crystal make it very easy to just reroll spam into what potential build you want. And then the mine crystals for chance boost of each element also make it very easy to go for specific tactic builds. Well, do we just want to... I think at this point we already have all the worst debuffs, so piling on more is not going to be a big deal for the 4 buffs that we get. Yeah, 100E is definitely the point of, like, you can still kind of plan on what you want to go for, but it gets much more difficult. Mostly in terms of potentials. Tactics are still somewhat easy to get into a build with if you have chance boost mine crystals. More so if you're looking for, like, just one tactic element instead of a complex build with a mixture of multiple elements. Oh, come on. I was, like, 1 pixel away from making that jump both times. I'd really like to see... Well, that's fine. I need my heavy strike upgrade where it hits multiple times. Once I get that, I'll never have any boss DPS problems. Let me grab you a link for getting all potentials. This isn't a guide that's specifically for getting all potentials, but the setup that you'll do... did I link that right? I think I did. The setup that you'll do for getting all potentials is also the same as the one here. And if you're just trying to get the achievement for all potentials, play Mai, because she has the least amount in the game. Also, hello, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, sometimes I forget that when I view the doc, there's like an editor link, and if I link that on accident, if I link just the URL, it links that, and it'll tell people that they don't have access to the document. So I always have to go in and click on a certain thing to share the link instead. Oh man, seeing the lightning impulse chain reactions on these types of stages are always so fun, where enemies are just constantly spawning in and exploding. Actually, wouldn't mind a Sorticio. I'm still kind of iffy on if I'd like Sorticios or not. I think they're not that bad with the three rerolls on them, especially when I have more of the options covered and can't just pick exchanges anytime I want to. The my max HP is because I have the black market that increases my HP by 50% each time I perfect clear. So, yeah, this run is almost what I would consider invalid at this point. If I win it. If I lose it, then it's even more of a skill issue on my part. But if I win it, then it's somewhat invalid, because this is just a black market that's very overpowered. Yeah, the exploit to change game RNG isn't something you generally need, but it does help out a lot and make the things a lot more consistent. One of the things about going for stuff like max potential runs in this is that your RNG can affect so much during the run. It can affect the amount of shops you get, it can affect what's in the shops. Sometimes you get shops that just don't have any potentials. And then also on top of that, the black markets and covenants are so ridiculous for getting a character set up that I'd rather just RNG manipulate them rather than doing like 100 runs of each character just to get the good luck on it. Like, yeah, we're already at 1800 rating on this character, and a lot of that is just because of the black market. Do I have... Okay, I can summon multiple portals. Okay, finally we got Heavy Strike upgrade. Now I think we'll be good to go for boss damage. I'm sure I would have died in that boss fight. Or I would have, at the very least, had to use mixtures if I didn't have this ridiculous amount of MP. I'm so used to just killing all the bosses immediately that I haven't practiced their patterns enough. If this didn't have such a bad obligation on it, we'd have like a perfect run. Also, this one... losing my ground damage is really rough. Because my hold attacks are going to be doing a lot of damage. Like, yes, I can also probably just have infinite portals down, but that does not sound very fun. This would be so broken, though. Do we just... Oh, fuck it. We'll do this run where we just get lucky and entirely break the game, and then we'll do another run afterwards. Wait. I just thought of something really funny. So you remember how I was saying earlier, Lambda, when she has triple jump and portals, she gets a hidden effect where jumping will spawn the portals. And I'm wondering if those jump portals will also trigger the MP restore from the Covenant. Oh, that's gonna be so stupid if it does. Oh my god, the MP restore. It happens so often. It really helps that Lambda's basic skill only costs 30. You know what? I wonder if the, I bet the second versions of it are also able to proc that chance. So basically, I probably have 6 chances to proc it every time I'm doing my skill combo. Yes, if it uses MP, it's a skill, but there's also things that don't quite follow that rule. Like Lambda's jump portal will apply skill tactics, even though they don't cost anything. Also, the game's really weird about, if it has an MP cost, but it's an input that's on the dash button, it applies attack tactics and not skill tactics. So like my dash here, it will actually apply the chain lightning, even though it costs MP. It doesn't apply the impulses. It's weird. This game has a lot of inconsistencies in it. The more I look at how, like, some of the damage factors scale in, the more I see inconsistencies around. Also, a lot of the in-game text descriptions aren't always clear. I'm really feeling a damage cut, though, from not having, like, Frost or Rend. But overall, I think the Thunder and Lightning isn't that bad. Yeah, having the knockdown passive on top of the restore just means that I get pretty much infinite NP. See, yeah, I'm doing pretty good on timer, so I don't need to worry too much about speed running it right now. If I want to clear out stuff real fast, I just start putting down portals everywhere. Yeah, it's counted as... Well, actually, it's counted as both a dash and an attack. So, like, the dash animation will set off dash tactics if you have them, and then the actual attack itself will set off, attack tactics. It works the same way with, S. She has, something that's MP cost on the dash button. One of the in-game tooltips even says that things that have an MP cost are considered universal skills, which isn't quite true, just because of the one dash exception. And I don't know why they made that thing the one exception. Like I said, there's just a lot of inconsistencies in the game. Two things will both say, like, they give you a % damage increase, but then one thing will scale off of your base damage without any other modifiers, and then the other thing will actually scale off your modifiers. That's another example of where there's sometimes inconsistent text in the game. I wish there was a way to see how much HP enemies had. I'm curious how much the enemy HP scales up in 100 Transcendence compared to, like, lower stuff. Because the bosses are very apparent in how much they're scaling up in Transcendence compared to normal. But with enemies, it's harder to tell. Yeah, they really need to work on the descriptions. Especially when it comes to stuff like the legacy character passives. The legacy character passives are really bad. Everything will just say, like, it gives you a damage increase. Well, cool. That doesn't tell me anything. One damage increase could be, like, 200%, and one damage increase could be 5%, and you would never know which one was the better one of the two, unless you go in and calculate damage yourself. And then it's weird because then there will just be random ones on the legacy descriptions that actually do tell you something. Like Ragna's second legacy skill does actually give you a damage value. So why put it in one place but not others? The other thing with the legacy stuff is that it's also very random between do they actually tell you how long the duration is for something, or do they just say it happens for a time, which is so annoying to me. It's such a good game overall, but the descriptions being so vague and inconsistent is a really big pet peeve I have with the game. Ooh, fast kill MP recovery. Not like we need it at this point, but it's a nice buff to have for Lambda. Almost 500,000 HP on here. Wow. See if I can knock her out of the air. If you jump just high enough with triple jump, you can get your portals to shoot her out of the sky. It's not very safe to do, though, unless I get them set up before the lasers, or I have Jin passive. Most characters actually have a way of getting up to her, too. Oh, I'm out of time. Yeah, the lack of boss DPS is a lot more of an issue than I thought it would be. Okay, at least I didn't lose my mixture there. I guess I really just need to be spamming more portals, otherwise I don't have the DPS. If I had Frost on skills right now, everything would just instantly be dying with the setup I've gotten going. But I don't think I took too much damage from the boss fight itself there. I did take a lot of dumb hits, but most of it was the HP drain. Okay, before we go into Susano, I need to go to the bathroom real quick, so I'll just be a couple minutes, it won't be long. Yeah, I got 99 problems, but MP is not one of them. Let me look for what would be good background music for this boss fight. We could go with Takaishin. It would be fitting. I'm gonna take the exchange space just for my discount mine crystal. That's the only reason I'm going in here. Oh, and that was very worth it. I want the Calamity Sword. I could very easily run myself out of MP with this one, even with all the stuff I've got on. I'm trying to think of what else, even if I reroll, though. I would like my down attack, because it's a nice way to air stall, but there's probably not that good of a chance I'm gonna get it. Having the blades be summoned at the enemy would also be useful at this point. I don't think Calamity Sword's really worth it. Okay, I'm fine with that. And now I'm not going to... Well, I can go into the event. The event doesn't count down my timer at all, so I don't have to worry about it. Ooh, I wish I would have saw this before I took the shot. I don't think I'll be able to get another shop unless I do a regular stage. Yeah. So, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know how fast I'll kill Susanoo, so I'd rather not waste any of my time. Man, look at that mixture healing. It's so good. I can never stress enough how good the mixture mind crystals are. Do I even have? Okay, yeah, they're just not in the right order. I was gonna say, if I talked about that and then didn't have it equipped, that would be hilarious. Oh, he has 500k HP. So it doesn't seem like going up to 100 really raises the HP a whole lot more compared to 80. It's just more so, it seems like the Transcendence buff itself is where a lot of the HP comes from. And when I say compared to 80, I meant like Transcendence 80 is what I normally run. That was really bad timing on the counter. Imagine if I had frost on these portals. Yeah, portals are just really insane when you've got the MP to use them. Even without this buff, if you start getting to the point of where you're at like 200, 300 MP, the portals just do way too much. They probably need a lot lower cap on how many you can have at once. And they probably need a little bit of a base damage nerf on top of that. Because even just having a couple of them is way too much DPS. They're doing 3,000 per hit. My jump portals also do that same damage for free. They also hit for 3,000. It's crazy. Ah! I wanted to finish him off with something cool, but I didn't quite get it in. For this run, the portal's my damage because of the damage cut from the Covenant I took, and also not having frost on attacks. Oh, I got what was that second achievement I got? It was like fast as lightning. Maybe clearing in under 30 minutes. But yeah, guys, that's how you beat 100 Entropy. You just get literally perfect luck on, well, almost perfect luck on both the Black Market and the Covenant, and you just bash your face through the through the rest of the run. I was very, very low on my actual skill contributing to it, because I don't think I played that well. And that was way more so just broken run, which is part of the fun of roguelikes. Sometimes you just get runs like that. Clear Transcendent Mind Training with Entropy above 60 within 30 minutes. Ah, I see. So I want to try one more with Lambda before I go on to Icy. Since that one was a bit of a cop-out, I feel like. And also, I want to do one with the other tactics. If I go Skill Frost, it's a lot easier of a build to play, and I think it's a lot easier to get going as well. But if I go with Skill on Attacks, the heavy attack build does get quite strong. It's just the amount of potentials I need to put it together are a lot higher than the skill build. So I'll probably go with Rend on attack and Frost on the skills. I was gonna say, surely I have a Frost or skill cold character. Let's go with... I really like the white skill effects on this, but I don't like the pure black on the costume. I wish this one had skill effects on it. Let's go with purple skills this time. At least that run also served as a Just a good warm-up practice session, too. It always takes me at least a run or two to get more comfortable with controlling characters again, since I switch around characters so often. Where did that guy come from? I feel like I saw a guy just, like, randomly teleport across the screen. Like, I know they have that move where they do it, but I feel like he went a lot farther than usual. We could go for Radiance. Not a bad option. I don't know exactly how worth it selling tactics would be in 100, since the shops are so hidden. I need to pay more attention in shops to when I'm buying Ascensions. That's something I didn't really pay attention to last time too much. So I think this... Let's see. Oh, it's an advanced battle. It's so much harder to tell what the hidden spaces are than it used to be. They did an update that changed how a lot of the generation works on selection layouts. I always used to be able to tell what they were, but now it's a lot different than it used to be. Shield bash attack range always throws me off guard. I always think it's a lot shorter than it actually is. So with this one, I feel like it should be another special stage, like a shop or something. Nope, it's an exchange point. Okay. Yeah, it's just... the ordering of rune selections does not work the same way as it used to. It used to be very predictable. Oh, come on. I hate flying enemies. Yeah, this is a really good song. Ooh, another HP mixture. I will gladly take that. And then... do we just take the rest here? Killstreak damage reduction is a pretty bad debuff. But I want... I think I'm gonna take the Sortisho. You have to be careful about taking too many rest spaces, because it can lead to your character being weaker. Oh, +2 mixtures. That's so good with my setup. Okay, good. The one thing that I have noticed about the new stage generation is that you still always get a shop before every boss fight, it seems. I haven't went down and, like, written it down between each runs like I did before, but it seems like you get a shop before every boss fight. Okay, we can pick up Holy Marks. That'll be nice, if we can get into more light spaces. Maybe I should just run Light Chance with the setup, honestly. Another mixture. I'll take it. Sure, let's go with that. And then... yeah. I usually reroll my last shop, even if I don't have enough money to buy anything, just because the discount Mind Crystal always takes effect. It's one of those things where, like, it's worth it when it's worth it, but if you just get, like, a 1 debuff removal, then it's not quite as worth it. It's just very luck dependent. Oh, that really hurts. I missed! That dash attack was so close to hitting. The only thing I really need is, Universal Moorblades and my portals right now. Triple Dash would also be nice. Well, that'll work too. Let's upgrade the frog this time. Why not? Yeah, I've got a really good potential setup going right now. I need the... no, I have Corsair Saber for the hidden effect, and then I have the Heavy Strike upgrade for more blade, or for more attacks. So I just need Universal Moorblades, and I'm pretty much good to go. Is this worth it? I really don't think this one's worth it. If I had something like Ragna passive to give me healing back, then I think this one could be very manageable. And when I say Ragna passive, I mean Ragna's legacy passive. Both of his can give you healing. But otherwise, I don't feel like I can really out-heal that quick enough for it to be worth it. What do we got for deep? I cut Afterlife Bomb, Intermittent Thunder, and the MP Recovery again. Afterlife Bombs isn't nearly as bad on a character like Lambda, but that MP Recovery is a little painful. Though, to be honest, if I'm playing around her passive properly, it really shouldn't affect me during normal rooms. It's just the boss fights where it can become a lot more impactful. I think this is probably still worth it. It's hard to say with the hidden space. Like with the old space generation, this would always be another elemental space for a tactic. But now it could be other things too, like exchange spaces, it could be an advanced battle space. Ooh, speedrun reward is a very nice buff to pick up. And then again, I'm just gonna refresh here because I still get something on discount. There's a Mind Crystal that gives you a 90% discount on the shop. It applies to each reroll of the shop you do, and it's a 100% chance. It's not something that is chance-based. I didn't have a way to get out of there. Well, I did if I didn't fuck up my platforming. Oh, this is not good. I hate that hallway when you have stuff like enemy count and attack rate turned up, and then when they get bombs on top of that from debuffs, that hallway can end runs very easily. Especially because there's another room layout that uses that hallway, and it's a survival, either to kill a certain amount of enemies or last a certain amount of time. And that one is just pure nightmare fuel. There's a similar one in Sakura City as well that has ended a lot of my runs. Because there's nowhere to go in terms of, like, vertical movement, because you're just trapped in a really narrow hallway. And then it gets to the point of where there's so many enemies in there that there's the entire ground is almost covered too. How's my frog doing? I think I saw him hitting for like 91 damage. Though, honestly, like, the frog... Ooh, triple dash. The frog is not what you take for damage. The frog is something you take for pulling aggro. I'm just curious, if the damage goes up when I level it. You died in rooms like that more than Susano? That honestly doesn't surprise me. Honestly, Susano feels a little underwhelming as a final boss, in my opinion. He's a little bit scary the first times you fight him, but you get used to him pretty quickly. Oh, that was just max HP. Transcended Susano is something that is, like, catching me off guard a bit again. But once I get used to him, he won't be that big of a deal. Honestly, I think Oreed is a much harder boss than Susano is. And then Floating Mind might even be the hardest boss in the game. Transcended Floating Mind is pure nightmare fuel. Normally, Floating Mind is kind of kept in check by the fact that the lasers don't deal very much damage, but have like a really high hit rate. But what I've seen happen in Transcended Floating Mind is that they're dealing 400 damage a hit and hitting like 3 times per second. I've gotten just absolutely deleted by Floating Mind from full HP. Yeah, I avoid fighting Floating Mind unless I have to, or if I'm trying to set up like a all potentials character, I'll do it. The new difficulty is it's kinda hit and miss in my opinion. The good things about it, oh my god. Do you guys understand what this means? If I take this? I have a Mind Crystal that gives me 10 seconds of invulnerability anytime I respawn. Plus, I have a 200% damage bonus when I am, when I'm in that state. You guys understand just how stupid this is? I'm not gonna do it, because I cheesed my last run really badly, and I want to have the run where I feel like I have at least some sense of satisfaction. I know that's the entire point of roguelikes, is to break the game, but I've been breaking the game for so long that part of the reason why I want to do 100 Entropy right now is to try and get better at the game. So for this one, I'm gonna hold off on breaking it. If I hadn't just broken the last run, I would definitely take it. But yeah, about the new Transcendence difficulty, the good parts of it is that it does add new boss attack patterns. It seems like they're also just kind of more aggressive in general. That part I'm not positive on, but there are new boss attacks that come along with the mode, which is really good. But then the problem that comes with that is that the enemy HP scaling is really insane in Transcendence. The Susano fight last run had 500,000 HP per fate, so that's 1.5 million HP in total. And it kind of makes the boss fights feel like a bit of a slog sometimes, and it also kind of it highlights the meta tactics more so than had already happened before this mode. So what? I'm trying to think of I think 100 cost would be a white tactic, probably. If I'm going to be doing 100 more often, it's something I need to get used to, is the prices of shops, so I can kind of tell what they are. I don't think I really want any of these. Do I want to waste refreshes either? Probably not. I'll probably just sell it back for profit. And then, yeah, that allows me to buy MP cost. That was probably my best move there. Yep, that's the exact same thing, I feel like. The bosses having better patterns is cool, but the HP scaling is too much. If you're running, like, really meta tactics, then the HP values aren't that bad, but that just gets to the point of where you're running the same tactics every time. It also depends on the character, too. Like, that's always been another thing. Some characters are capable of way higher DPS than others. I never understood why they made Legacy Edge this way. I'm pretty sure you have to get the second upgrade before you can get the first one. And it's weird because the second one requires the first one to even really do anything. Unless it also just gives a base increase of the blade shot. Oh, hello, Chantel. It's nice to see you here. Are you watching, or any of the kids watching with you? So that's actually my sister. And my niece and nephew watch my content sometimes, which is really cool. It's one thing that especially when I was streaming, more so I have a bit of a potty mouth, and when I heard that my niece and nephew watch this content sometimes, it really got me to consider, like, the way that I talk sometimes. I've been trying to cut... On videos, I'm a lot better about it, but when I'm talking casually on stream, that's usually when I start, like, swearing and stuff more. So that's just kind of how I talk casually in general. Yeah, I think Reki's the... I'm pretty scared of Transcended Oread as well. More so depending on... It depends a lot on the character I'm playing, too. Some characters just have a really bad time against Oread, and others can just hit her out of the air without too much of an issue. But her attack patterns are pretty scary on their own. And then Transcended Floating Mind, I just do not fight unless I have to. I hate that fight. I wish there was a better way to mess around with off-meta builds without having it feel like you're just not doing the damage you need to. Because the problem I run into if I play on, like, normal difficulty 50 entropy is that I end up getting too many potentials to where the character just kinda deletes everything on their own in 50 entropy, and I start clearing it too fast. And then the off-meta tactics don't even matter at that point. And, like, I guess I could sell back potentials to not get the character damage scaling, but then I'm just making the game less fun, because my character has less options. Oh. And I'll try to get back to the question about which tactics are meta after I finish this boss fight. Oh, I forgot I had that. That would have been very helpful. Okay. Yeah, I don't really... I don't feel too much of a noticeable difference on Transcended Arakune compared to some of the other ones. Like, I'm sure he is different, it's just not as noticeable to me. I don't know if I'll do it with every character. It also depends, like, Transcendence 80 I could probably do on every character, but Transcendence 100 would take a lot longer. I'm sure I could do it if I tried. It's a matter of practicing enough. We'll see. I'll have a lot more room to do stuff like that. Now that I'm not going to be focusing on guides for a while, I'll have a lot more time to just practice stuff like 100 runs on different characters. There are some characters like Rachel that does not sound fun to do 100 with. Like, I know I did her in my video where I completely broke the run, but if you don't really get a good setup going with Rachel, she gets really rough to play. Especially because, like, her bats and her frogs just feel like almost useless potential slots, in my opinion. they're okay, but they can't compare at all to her other potentials. And then on top of that, she has the most potentials in the game by far. So it's a lot harder to get a consistent setup with her. Or like not even necessarily a consistent one, but one that has good synergy. Yeah, Rachel, like, if you get the right stuff early on, then she's a super easy character to beat the run with. Okay, so... I just saw your message, Chantel, about having to clean up the language, too. So the tactics that I consider to be meta right now are mostly Frost on... You can put Frost on your attack or your skill based on like where your main DPS is. So in this run, it would actually be better if Frost was on my attacks because my heavy strikes are upgraded. But it's just, that's just a 100 entropy thing. This would be good if I got the portals, but I didn't. But anyways, Frost is like really, really good as a main DPS tool because not only does it make your character itself deal more damage, it also gives you Frost Burst, which does pretty decent damage on its own. It's nothing like game-breaking, but having it do both things just makes it very strong. And then the other thing about Frost Burst is that it also adds AoE for your normal room clearing. So even characters like Zama that have really low attack range can still get some AoE damage out of a Frost Burst. And then you can also put this with Legacy Lightning, which will upgrade the Frost Burst even more. It makes it hit in a lot bigger range and gives it a bit more attack damage. You can even just put this Frost Impulse on a Legacy character. So if you inherit like Skill Cold and Frost Impulse, the Frost Impulse will be active without you having to ever take the Legacy Lightning or Skill Lightning. That's a useful way to set it up. Ice Spikes are really good. If you get the Freezing Blade upgrade, makes them do a lot of AoE damage, and then the Ice Spikes will also automatically proc Frost Burst for you, if you've got that going on. And then you can get stuff like Endless Ice Spikes or Ice Spikes Respawn, Shadow Ice Spike. All of the reds here are very good with it. Ice Spike Respawn, I'm pretty sure, gets affected by the Freezing Blade, so it penetrates enemies and then it spawns multiple extra ones. I'm not positive on that, but I think that's how it works. But yeah, Ice Spike Respawn just gives you a ton of them in normal rooms, whereas Endless Ice Spikes is more consistent for the boss fights, where you're not getting them stacked. And then Shadow Ice Spikes are also just really generically good if you're running the Dashing Shadow. Another thing that's really meta is Rend. Rend is okay itself when it comes to... It does increase the damage that you're dealing on normal enemies, but the Rend damage itself doesn't really end up doing a lot in bosses. But the important part of Rend is Rending Impact here. When enemies get inflicted with Rend, they lose their super armor and take additional damage. So the way that this damage gets calculated is different than how Frost is calculated. So when you see that Frost is like a 46% or 47% damage increase, and this is only a 16, it's a lot better than it sounds, just because of how the damage calculation works. Frost and Radiance are calculated different than Rend for some reason. Rending Impact, I mean. So it's one of those things where the game is just misleading in its text. And then Fatal Rend is also really good to put on with Rend. They buffed it so it procs a lot sooner on bosses, and now it can deal a pretty good chunk of boss damage. And then just the extra room clearing speed on it is really nice too. Another one, Radiance is good. They even buffed it for some reason. I don't really know why they buffed it. Radiance is good. Chain Lightning is really good. I think I can go into the Tactic Codex. Yeah. Lightning Chain is really good. It does an okay amount of damage for the boss fights. It's not really going to be a bossing DPS tool, but it still does enough damage there to be relevant. And then the AoE damage it does for normal rooms is really useful to have. If you want to make the game just completely a piece of cake, you can set up Collapsing Tentacle and Black Hole Slow. Even just Black Hole Slow on its own will make the game really easy. This makes it so when the black holes are out on screen, the bosses will attack very slowly, and projectiles will also move slow. It's basically just, you can do free damage, and the problem comes from when you're running Black Hole Slow with something like Durable Black Hole, it gets to the point of where you have this Black Hole Slow on screen constantly. There's very little downtime in it, so bosses just basically don't get a chance to really attack or move around or do anything. And then when you put Collapsing Tentacle on top of that, it just makes it even worse. Because Collapsing Tentacle makes it where your tentacles will spawn with a black hole automatically, and then that black hole will also have the Black Hole Slow effect. So not only are you getting this really broken effect that completely invalidates a lot of boss fights, but it's also happening automatically once you add this on. I've broken this game in a lot of ways, but Black Hole Slow is one place where I even draw the line. Yes, Rend is something where if you're taking Rend, you're taking it more for the rending impact, and Fatal Rend less so, but rending impact is the real thing you take Rend for. The damage you get on normal rooms is okay. It varies a lot depending on which character you're playing, but the rending impact bonus is something that's very strong. Also, another thing, rending impact actually affects your tactic damage. Unlike almost every damage boost in the game, most of them don't ever scale up your tactics. Whereas with rending impact, it actually does. So if you're running a build with really strong tactics, then you can take this to boost on top of it. There's a Blade Ring build that makes really good use of that, where you run Blade Rings with this one, Consecutive Blade Rings, and you want Precision Cut with that as well. So you want Blade Ring, Precision Cut, the Double Blade Rings, the Skill Poison Ring, and Consecutive Blade Rings, along with that Rending Impact. And that is one of the few builds where tactics alone will just delete bosses. There's that one, and there's a Chain Reaction build between Lightning and Holy Spears that will also deal enough DPS to actually be pretty significant on its own. Otherwise, a lot of the other tactics not mentioned just don't really tend to scale up in damage enough. They work fine on lower entropy settings, but the higher in entropy you go, the more things start becoming damage sponges, and you need kind of just DPS tactics in order to deal with them. Also, black holes are... I don't know why I said black, as if, like, I suddenly developed an accent, but okay. Black holes are... something that's good even if you're not running the black hole slow. Just for being able to group all the regular enemies together. Black hole slow is something I really like running on Kokonoe specifically. It makes it a lot easier for stuff like her her laser to hit all the enemies at once. Ooh, that almost killed me, actually. How much damage did that laser hit? I feel like that hit for a lot. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yes, fire... I mean, fire at least, I have one redeeming build. The tactic tree that I can't ever redeem is poison, or toxin, whatever it's called. That tactic tree is so bad. The only thing you can, like, get remotely good mileage out of, in terms of toxin, in high entropy, is, virulent bombs aren't awful. But even then, like, there's just better stuff you could be running on Dash Slot than virulent bombs. Okay, I appreciate you even just listening to the stream in the background. Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of sucks about Toxin. Like, it has some really interesting setups you can do with the double tactics. There was a build I made where... So, it makes like a chain reaction of a virulent bomb explodes, the virulent bomb leaves behind the toxin that stays on the ground, and then the toxin that stays on the ground applies poison to enemies, and then when the poison tick goes off, it spawns another virulent bomb. So I made an infinite loop. The problem is that poison takes so long to ever go off on regular enemies that you just never see it actually working properly. It happens on boss fights, but on boss fights it takes around like 5 seconds for each poison tick, somewhere around there. And that's even with it like fully upgraded. It just doesn't do enough damage to even be worth it, even though it's an infinite auto-attacking loop. There's way better loops that you can make with light spears, unfortunately. I talked about it a bit before. My problem when I play on low entropy is that I always feel like my character gets way too strong, and my character is just dealing way too high a damage. I would have to sell potentials in order to get around that, and, or just, like, buy way less potentials from shops, that type of thing. And if I'm selling potentials or not buying them on purpose, then I'm making the game less fun. Yeah, I feel like eventually, if you play this game for long enough, you hit a point of where it's low entropy. Low entropy becomes easy enough just through like sheer game knowledge alone. Oh boy. I would much rather be fighting Non than Oreed. The issue with this fight is that I don't have my portals at all. I haven't gotten a single upgrade for them. So this is gonna be interesting. I don't really have I don't have the upgrade for my air attack to really deal good damage either. This is not ideal. I can do aerial hold attacks, I guess. Ooh. That upgrade does that. Alright, yeah, I think we're gonna be relying on hold attack spam. I'm okay here. Please stop homing on the regular enemy instead of the boss. Oh, they just went away. Huh. I hate those pillars on the edges. It's my own fault for forgetting about them, but they annoy me. Alright, we'll see the invincibility come into play. I really wish... Okay, good. She's gonna land just in time for me to deal damage. 10 seconds of invincibility is fucking ridiculous. Especially when I have a 200% damage bonus. You can see I can just... As soon as she lands, and I get the stun off, I just delete her HP bar. Yeah, I should have used Corsair Saber a lot more during that fight. Corsair Saber's a move I'm not really used to using, just because I usually go a similar build with her when I'm playing on lower entropy. Wait, why do I... Oops. What space did I just go in? Okay, it's only an exchange space, it's fine. I was about to say that it didn't add to my timer, but it did as soon as I went into this space, so it's fine. The problem we're at right now is HP, and I just wasted that exchange space. This is where it'd be very nice to have something like Ragna's, one of Ragna's legacy skills. Obviously, it's just a skill issue. I need to stop getting hit so much, but I burnt through all my mixtures and I burned through all of my mixtures and my revives, so now I'm just kind of in a bad spot. But that's something that I'll get better at with more practice. I feel like in learning the game, I spent so much time learning how to break the game that I didn't learn a lot of the fundamentals, like being better at avoiding boss attacks. So that's something I wanna work on. Oh, this is not good. It really sucks because I have everything set up for... I have almost everything set up. Instead of doing the Corsair Saber build for attack builds, I do Heavy Strike because of the hidden effect here, and then the more blades here. And then also you get invulnerability on the Heavy Strike. It deals a ton of DPS, which you can also use Corsair Saber during that too, but I usually focus more on the Heavy Strikes. The problem is I went Skill Cold. If I had to attack Cold, I'd be doing so much damage. I'd have basically a perfect setup for it. But then, if I try to do another run, and I go attack Cold, it'll give me all the portal upgrades for the skill build instead. Even with having kind of a mismatched build, I think we're on the same pace, if not outpacing last run. Ooh. Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, so hopefully here I can get either another mixture or I can get HP. 300 is... Oh look, my portals. Too bad I need at least one more upgrade for them to be actually good. I think 300 is the heal. And the heal is much worse than buying a mixture. It's a bit of a gamble, though, if I refresh or not. I don't remember how much a mixture costs. If a mixture costs the same, and I reroll, then I don't have the money for it. And I really don't think one 60% heal... Okay, good, it's a mixture. I don't think 160% heal would be enough for me to win the run. But I don't know if this is going to be enough either. But at this point... Ooh, okay, Event is a good space to see, because Event doesn't run out my timer. HP minus 50, HP mixture. That is a net gain. I don't know how much of a gain it is, though. Compared to... I think if I take the plus 40, it does heal me for that extra 40%. But I think this is better. I'm not sure how much healing it gives me, though. Because I heal for... Oh yeah, that's definitely better. Because I heal for 80% extra on top of whatever the base of the base of the mixture is. So that was a perfect sequence of events for me there. And I don't think I can waste any more time before Susano. Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if mixture and healing were the same price or not. I feel like they're the same price, but I'm not positive on that. That move always... Susano has a couple of attacks in Transcended difficulty that come out very quickly, which is gonna be... It's gonna take a while to get used to. Because I'm so used to all of his attacks having the wind-up time on them. My skill just homed in on one of the butterfly things. That one. Not a big deal, though. Oh! That felt a little weird. I feel like I should have had enough air to not get hit by that. But that's fine. It's all part of the process of learning to get better at boss patterns and playing the game. Not a big deal to lose a run at that point. Let me see how long I've been streaming. Almost 2.5 hours already. So I think what I'll do is... I need to unlock Ragna's second legacy skill on this profile real quick. That shouldn't take too long. I think this one... Yeah, this one's probably the one I set up for it. I have 2 different profiles. Actually, I have like 3 different profiles that I use, so unlocking the extra legacy skills between all of them is a little painful sometimes. One of them I just copy and pasted from another file, but this file is older, so it doesn't have the boss rush clears on it. I have one file that is mostly full of legacy tactics to inherit, and then I have one file that is set up with, or I'm working on the process of setting it up with characters that have all potentials, or almost all potentials, and then no tactics to do for stuff like boss fights and combo videos, that type of thing. And then I have another profile that's full of characters that are very strong for clearing the boss rush mode. I'm very grateful that they finally added a second page of character slots. But in my case, I still need multiple profiles. Just a lot of it's for content creation purposes, but having the multiple profiles to mess around with is also nice. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. I'm just I need to unlock Ragna's second legacy skill real quick before I go do a Transcendence 100 Icy run. I really like having Ragna's second legacy skill on Icy. She can make use of the healing out of it very efficiently, as well as the damage bonus that it gives. I play on controller. At some point, if I get money saved up again, I'm gonna have to consider either buying a different controller or buying like a microphone arm to go onto my, or so that my microphone's actually closer to my mouth. The microphone noises were never an issue before, but it's a combination, or the controller sounds picking up on the microphone is what I meant to say. I don't know what I said. It used to never be an issue, but part of the problem is I bought a new desk, and my desk is a lot higher up, so I'm sitting a lot higher up, and I also can't, I can't put my hands underneath the desk to try and mask some of the sound like I could with my old one. Just with the way the desk is made. And then I got an 8-bit Do Ultimate, and the buttons feel really nice to use, but they're extremely clicky and loud when it comes to trying to record videos. The funny thing is that when I record actual videos with commentary now, what I have to do is there's 3 drawers in my desk, which are really easy to remove. And what I do is I take out one of the drawers and I stick my hands in the compartment where that drawer would be. That way, it's kind of underneath the desk that way, instead of out in the open, where the mic picks it up more heavily. But in order to do that, I have to, like, rest my hands on the metal bars of where the shelf would sit in, or the drawer would sit in. So it's not something I can comfortably do on stream. It's a very bootleg workaround, but it works for the most part. Just not something I can do during streaming. I know getting like a mic arm is probably the best solution to audio quality in general. I just feel like it's going to... having it near my face and in my peripheral vision is going to really annoy me. I guess it's just something you get used to over time, but it's going to be really hard for me to get used to. The healing on, I forgot what the name of that move is. It's something DBD, like Dead by... Devoured by Darkness, that's what it is. The healing on that move is so insane, especially if I hit both targets. That didn't count as my SP skill hitting? That's not good. We're fine now. I'm sure I could probably beat Transcendence 100 on Ragna if I fail on Icy a couple times. Ragna, as long as you can get him going, he becomes kind of just unkillable. If you look up oh, what's the name of the video? I think it's just called Chain Reaction Build. I have a Light Spear build where they proc constantly. There's actually two different builds that can do it. One of them's a lot better than the other, but there's actually two ways of doing it, funnily enough. Oh no! That was really bad timing. Serpent disappeared right when I used my SP skill. That was very close call. Yeah, but for the Light Spear build, I'm pretty sure you just search for Blazblue Entropy Effect Chain Reaction build, and you'll find my video on it. It's probably easier for you to watch the video than for me to try to explain it on stream quickly, because it does... The way that the build is working is that it's using a combination of 3 to 4 different red tactics all working together. It's a little more complicated to explain. I did it backwards again! Man, I know I'm out of practice with Ragna, but I can't be missing SP skills like that. No wonder I haven't gotten myself killed during this. I do love me some Ragna combos, though. He can do a lot of really fun stuff with his aerial combo tools. Actually, do I have something? I'm not gonna risk it right now. I can actually, if I have a certain potentials, I can actually just jump up to where Firebite is and start hitting her during that phase. But it's also very risky because it's easy to get hit by the lasers. No, the way that the way that the light plus lightning build works out is that you have Summon Lightning Orb, which automatically hits the enemy. Then the Lightning Orb spawns a Thunderbolt through a red effect, and then through another red effect, the Thunderbolt spawns a Light Spear. So you're just getting automatic ones that way. The other build is similar. It's, you need dash. You need dash Holy Mark. Let me just look it up real quick, and I'll also be able to get you the link. I have a Google Sheets that has these builds written down. So for the light-based one, you run Holy Mark with the red effect Mark Flash, which makes it so When enemies attack or are attacked while having holy marks, they'll proc flash automatically. And then on Legacy, you run flash with flash light spear as a red tactic. And what that makes it do is that when flash happens, it spawns light spears. So you're getting automatic flashes from the mark flash red effect from your holy marks, and then you're also getting light spears off of those due to the flashlight spear from Legacy Flash. And then when you're running that kind of build, you pretty much almost always want to go light spear light wave, because it makes the light spears deal way more damage. You don't have to, though, if you want to use the light spear slot for something else. For Hazama, I've been having a difficult time getting him to kind of work well in general. In high entropy, he just feels like he doesn't have good damage scaling. So usually what I run with him is Frost Attack and then Rend with Rending Impact on his skill slot. But it might honestly just be better to run one of the chain reaction builds that I talked about. They're also... the chain reaction builds are on that Google sheet. It tells how to set them up. Yeah, the chain reaction builds are both pretty fun to use. Especially on characters that don't deal a whole lot of damage on their own. So let's see. I need Ragna for this run, and Attack Rend is what I want on there. Do I have... I could probably do the run without Jin's Legacy passive. It's ideal to have Jin's Legacy passive, but with the healing from Ragna passive, or Ragna second Legacy, I might not need it. And we'll try it, see how it goes. What is with this game, and I think I've had Afterlife Bomb as a starting debuff on every run so far. Oh, perfect. I got Electron Flow early on. Electron Flow is such a nice potential to see in this game. Compared to always on other characters, you're unlocking your attacks, like, one by one. And then with Electron Flow, it's like, here's, like, 4 different attacks you get all at once. Have fun. It's so refreshing to just get a bunch of moves at once. I'll pick up electricity here. Probably a good idea. I want to pick up Legacy Lightning just to improve my Frost Burst. That's the only reason I'm taking it. There we go. Now, as long as I can finish out Frost Burst, I can get that red effect. Or I can get the red effect to upgrade it. Which, it really shouldn't be too difficult to find 2 ice spaces. This is a very nice upgrade to look out for with Icy. The uppercut gets pretty good later on, but the hidden effect is the part that I really like about it. It makes it where your down air hits multiple times. Icy is one character where I still do have preferences on potentials, but overall, I don't really care a whole lot if I don't get very specific potentials with her. I think she feels really solid even just as a base character. Yeah, having that hidden effect to improve the down attack just makes it feel like you deal so much more damage, especially if you can get it early on. I think I'm fine with having more debuffs. Oh, there's extra missiles during that. That's not something I usually notice, because I usually just invulnerable through that phase with Jin's legacy passive. If the missiles will... Thank you, Frog! I love you, Frog. It's always really funny to see boss attacks like that actually specifically target the frog. have a really hard time dodging that attack without, Wait, I have triple jump. What am I doing? I should be able to avoid that attack better with triple jump. I don't know, it's just a weird... I don't know why it's such a weird attack for me to dodge in particular, but that's one I've always struggled with. Especially more so if you don't have triple jump to get the extra air, or triple dash to stay in the air for longer. But even then, I feel like I should be able to jump up and space out my legacy skills in order to keep me in the air for long enough. It's just something I need to practice. Ragna's second legacy skill is very broken, by the way. On characters that can actually use it efficiently. There are some characters that seem to use it better than others. But characters that can use it well, it makes the game way easier. You can see during this room I just healed for my entire health bar back. Even though I was low coming in. Icy can take really good advantage of it with the AoE and multi-hit of her hold attacks. Well, that's not really what I want. But I don't think it's really worth discarding it for 40 either. I need to not buy... That's something I'm gonna have to remember. Don't buy things here if they're 125. Only buy them if they're 150. Also don't buy 100 because that's... 100 is probably a white tactic, and then 150 are... What did I say before? I cannot remember numbers at all today. Hello. I guess we'll take that upgrade. It's really not that good. Not as good as it sounds. The damage scaling on using SP isn't anything too special. And the main problem with it is that you only use the SP on the hold attack. If you use the grounded version of it, it doesn't take the SP if you're in the air. And the grounded version of hold attack has a lot more startup frames, so you don't really want to be using it that often anyways. Maybe if the damage scaling on spending SP was better, then you'd want to use it more often, but as of now, it's not really worth it. There you can see a example of... If I had let the grounded version of hold attack go off, I think I would have taken damage there. There's a... So I can just show it. If I do an aerial version, there's no wind up and I can attack immediately out of it. But if I do the grounded version, she does that whole sheathing animation first. It slows down the attack a lot. Especially because overall, Icy is such a... She's such a quick character that having even a small delay like that is noticeable. Also, with the way her MP regeneration works, you want to be hitting as often as possible, and having that slow down your attack rate affects a lot more than just not dealing damage for a couple extra seconds. Ooh, I might die. That's not looking good. I should not be burning my revive that early in the run. Especially if I'm using something as broken as Ragna Legacy. Not sure which one of these two I like more. Having the exchange points lets you buy a lot of extra upgrades, but just having the flat skill damage is also nice. I think I'd rather have the extra money though, especially because it costs less in HP value. I can get damage out of shops in the form of every time I pick up a potential, it gives me a 20% damage boost to the character, and then also with shops I can get a little bit of healing if I need to, and also stuff like HP and MP upgrades. The invincible dodge state on aerial combo might actually be pretty useful. It's not something I've really had to consider using in lower entropy runs, because I usually have other options. And I've never really used it much in general, just because of how long it takes to do the entire air combo. But it might be something we can make use of, if I remember it. Like right there, when I do it, that's a lot of invincibility time to have. But the problem is how vulnerable I am during the attack combo itself. Oh, there's the frost explosion that I need. Now I just need one more ice space, or for the red tactic to show up in somewhere. Do I actually want virulent bombs? Really not that bad of an option for the slot. Sure, why not? I will be dashing a lot as I see, so... Problem is that the damage of stuff that, like, Virulent Bomb does just can't compare at all to the HP that bosses are getting on high entropy, and especially on Transcended high entropy. Like, bosses, 300,000 HP Defiling Eye. Virulent Bombs doing, like, up to 1,000 damage, or probably up to, like, maybe 2k if they're fully upgraded. Just aren't going to put any kind of dent in that kind of HP bar. Oh, I don't have a... I'm used to having invincibility during my heavy attacks, but I need to remember that I don't. Where? Huh, okay. I was waiting for the projectiles to start coming down, but somehow he just didn't use them. Oh, this would be so good on Icy. The problem is, my mind crystals are set up where my mixtures heal me for a lot. And I have 5 of them, so I'd be giving up all 5. I'd be giving up a lot of value that way. I know I do have the Ragna healing, but even then I'd like to have the backup of the mixtures as well. And then this would also be good with the virulent bombs, but I'm going to be doing a lot of aerial attacks, so I don't really want to deal with any of these. The negative 100 MP one isn't that bad on Icy compared to other characters, but even then, it's not something I really want to deal with. Especially because restoring SP wouldn't really do a whole lot for me. Don't really have a main character. I like playing all of the cast, but either Icy or Lambda are probably my favorite ones to play. It used to always be Lambda was my favorite by a landslide, and then once Icy came out as a patch, the moment I started playing her, I really enjoyed her. I really thought with the patch that it would be, that I'd be a Hazama main, because I like Hazama's design, his character design, and the way his skill effects look. But I didn't end up enjoying Hazama nearly as much as I enjoy Icy. I kind of have really mixed feelings on Hazama in general. He's a character that, when I play him in like the boss rush mode, while having maxed out potentials, I really enjoy him. But running through the actual game mode with him, I don't enjoy him nearly as much. I think getting Hazama's potential set up is really annoying. It's a similar thing with Rachel, too. Where getting her potential set up can be really annoying and painful if you don't get the right ones. I feel like Hazama's potentials are really bloated, in that a lot of them are just giving you pretty subtle passive effects until you start, like, getting a lot of them together. Like his MP absorption stuff. If you just have one of them, it's not... It is a noticeable difference, but it doesn't make a big difference in his gameplay one way or another. Compared to, like, when you fully max out on all the MP absorption potentials and hidden effects, then he just gets to the point of where you have infinite MP almost. It just doesn't feel like a smooth route of getting to that point and getting things going. And then on top of that, if you're dumping all of the potentials into getting his MP stuff set up, then you're not really left with much of another moveset either. For MP skills, he only has his base skill and then up attack, I think. I don't think anything else really costs MP, because the chains cost SP, and then his other big skill move is also SP. Oops, I have a bad habit of doing that occasionally. I was just mashing A for some reason, and then I automatically selected the room selection instead of being able to see it. I don't do that nearly as often as I used to, but occasionally it still happens. I mean, I can't believe I spend 100 SP on that hold attack and it doesn't even kill an enemy. The scaling on the SP version is so bad. Oop, that's not good. Hey, good, I got Non this time. I would so much rather see Non than have to fight Oreed. Oh, I don't have the ability to use my stances in midair. I have to remember that. Oh, I don't have Jin passive, so I probably can't do it safely. If I had Jin passive, I could actually just, I could gain enough height to go up and attack her, but it's not safe to do, because I'll get hit by lasers as I'm doing it. Now, this won't be a bad option for invincibility. This is kind of why I never end up using this combo on lower entropy, because I usually just get the invincibility from Deadly Disc instead, which is, I can use it on demand, and it's basically the same thing. I don't have to worry about the startup frames, or the, like, vulnerability time of having to do the entire combo first. It doesn't have a... The air combo doesn't have an MP cost, but other than that, Deadly Disc is pretty much just a better version of it. Okay, I need a quick bathroom break before I go into Susano, but it'll just be a couple minutes, so I'll see you guys soon. Alright, I'm back. Wait, why is mine... Oh, no. I bet I just wasted a ton of time on my timer. I don't know exactly what causes that. Why did I go into a shop, by the way? Whatever. I wasn't planning on clearing out Omega anyways, so... Getting that, that one discount on the shop is fine. And then I'll grab the event before I go in. But yeah, there's a bug I've noticed sometimes where your timer is running down when you're like in the pause menu or when you're in potential training mode, trying out different potentials. So I don't know how much time ended up getting wasted there. The timer's not supposed to tick down when you're like in this area. But what I was gonna say about the timer is, I feel like they need to give you bonus time in Omega Sector compared to other stages, because it's just not it's not very enticing to run through the extra stages of Omega Sector on high entropy, because you have to spend so much time getting through this 1.5 million HP Susano fight. It's funny because the old Omega Sector had this problem too, and they never changed it or fixed it. The problem's not as bad with the new Omega Sector. That was a lot of damage. The problem's not as bad with the new Omega Sector, but it's still there. What? I feel like that definitely should have been in an invulnerability state. Because Deadly Disc does have invulnerability. I just don't know why it's not considered invulnerable there. Because it's not like the animation had ended or anything. He's doing it again? Jeez. That was a funny way for the fight to end. He just kinda jumped straight into my attack. Oh man, I love IC combos though. She feels like such a fluid character to play. $26 is pretty quick for 100 entropy too, especially Transcended. I think it's about the same time as my Lambda victory was. It was somewhere below 30, I know that. I don't really consider it to be a real victory, since I'm abusing Ragna second legacy skill to get so much healing throughout the run. I think it's really broken, and I wouldn't be able to beat the run without it. But I think it's also... it's a good way to learn without being punished as much as I would normally. You know, it's kind of the whole point of roguelikes to be really punishing. Well, that's not a factor of roguelikes that I enjoy. I feel like I don't learn patterns as well that way if I'm just dying immediately in the fights, or if I'm dying really early on. I'm curious if they'll nerf Ragna's second legacy skill. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. They need to either... I don't think they need to reduce the healing that it does, because the healing does vary a lot depending on what character you're running and what kind of moves they have. But I think the problem with it, on top of that healing, is that the cooldown is way too low, to where you can just use it as a healing tool anytime you want, on demand, without really too many downsides. There are downsides to using it, but they're not big enough to justify how low of a cooldown it has, and how much it can heal when used on characters that can use it well. It seems to work better on high multi-hitting characters compared to characters that hit less often, but it's not something I've really tested on every character. I should not have bought that. I need to pay attention to that. I could just go ahead and take Black Hole. I'm so tired of running Radiance. Gotten it every time. There's not really a whole lot of other good options for the summon slot, though. Summon Tentacle with red effects is pretty good. You can get it where the Tentacle summons Black Holes, but that's not really something I can guarantee in high entropy. Unless I run, like, Chance Boost for Umbra, that type of thing. I think I'm gonna go into this for this run. Mostly I want where I can use integration in the air, more so than unlocking the other stance moves. I think the stance moves are something they really need to buff from Icy. I think it's down plus stance into, yeah, down plus stance into skill is probably the best one by far. Because it ends up getting, I can't remember if it has iframes by default, or if one of the hidden effects upgrades it, but it ends up getting iframes, so it's a really good tool for getting away from a boss, or charging through one of the boss's attacks. And then there's one of the stance moves, I think it's up plus action, and then skill, that consumes all of your MP to deal bonus damage, but the damage scaling on it is really, really awful. Yeah, right there. It did at least kill this enemy, but if I were to use that on like a later game enemy, it would barely scratch them. Compared to just spending the MP on the hold attack, you get way more cost efficiency out of the hold attack. A week ago, lightning orbs. The only thing I don't like about lightning orbs is that the hits that they deal, I think, can mess up when I'm trying to do, like, flashy air combo stuff. Which really isn't a big deal. There's not a whole lot of chances to combo, but I do like being able to do the air combo stuff. Man, the game just really wants to give me Radiance today. Which, I shouldn't be complaining, but it'd be nice to run something else there. We can run Ice Spikes there. Fatal Rend would be good to pick up as well. That was a really stupid time for me to use Ragna's Legacy passive. Or Legacy active, I mean. I thought I had enough NP for hold attack, but I didn't. And even then, I shouldn't have used it right after stepping on a trap like that. But that's one of the things where I was talking about earlier, with it having such a low cooldown, even if you do, like, completely whiff it occasionally, it's not that big of a deal. I think if they just put a longer cooldown on it, it'll be fine. But right now it's just way too consistent. Part of the reason why the cooldown is so low right now is that the cooldown starts immediately after you use it. Even though the buff lasts for several seconds. I don't remember exactly how many seconds it lasts, but the cooldown is ticking while you're still getting the benefits of the buff. So that's something that just makes the cooldown a lot lower in general that way. It makes or I guess you could also say it makes the uptime of the buff much higher than it would be otherwise. It looked like I might have had iframes during the kind of unsheathing animation of hold ground attack. I didn't realize that had iframes. I don't know if if that's what it was, or if it was just that the attack didn't quite hit me, but it looked like I should have gotten hit by an attack there. I think one thing maybe I should start doing as well in 100 Entropy specifically is not taking so many shops. I feel like shops have a crazy amount of value in lower entropies where you can see all of the rewards, but in higher entropy, I probably need to get out of the habit of valuing them quite so heavily. Especially if I'm taking more tactics too. If I'm not selling a lot of my tactics, I'm also not getting as much money for the shops. I think I'm wasting a lot of spaces taking them when I don't really need to be. Like, it'd be better to save up more money first and then go into the shop later, rather than going into it basically anytime I see it. I've developed a lot of bad habits from playing on lower entropies and breaking the game so heavily, which is something I'll just work on over time. Now that I don't feel like I need to be putting out guide content constantly and talking about wrong ways to do things. And having three tornadoes active during that phase is rough. It's manageable, but it's pretty rough. This is a boss that normally I generally don't even see the full attack patterns for, because usually I just kill it before it gets into any of the phases. Another thing that makes Ragna's second legacy skills so strong is that the damage boost affects your tactic damage that's being dealt, and most damage increases don't scale tactics like that. The only things I know of that scale tactic damage are Rending Impact and Ragna's second legacy. There might be more, but I know other things like there's 20% damage boost that you get to your character anytime you pick up a potential, and that is not something that scales into tactic damage. I don't know how a lot of the mind crystals actually scaled, because I'm not gonna go and do damage calculations for all that stuff. Same for all of the characters' legacy passives and stuff. One thing I did end up doing damage calculations for is Frost, Radiance, and Rend, and I found out some cursed information about them. The reason why I started trying to do like some damage calculations in the first place is that I noticed when you hit an enemy while having Frost on, it doesn't actually make the damage hit that you deal do additional damage, like you would expect a % damage increase to. What Frost does instead is add an additional hit onto every attack that you do. I don't know if there's any... I don't think there's any cooldown on it, but it's adding additional hits instead of just boosting your damage. And the part of this that is actually pretty important is that the damage boost stays the same, no matter what kind of damage modifiers you have on your character. It's just based on the base damage of that attack. So it's not something that scales into once you've got like a lot of damage increases from stacking potentials, or from other kinds of like mind crystal buffs, black market buffs, that type of thing. And where it gets even worse in terms of like doing this is that Rending Impact also has basically the same text and doesn't work the same way. So if you see, it says Rending Impact makes it where enemies lose super armor and take an additional 16% damage, and then you read Skill Cold, it says skills deal 47% more damage. Those really sound like they would both do the same thing, but they don't. It's really weird. Rending Impact is actually just a flat damage, or a damage increase that increases the damage of your actual hit, and it does scale off of other damage modifiers. There's a lot of text in this game that's either just extremely vague or is actually misleading. Apparently that's kind of a common thing in roguelikes, from what other people have said. Having like just very vague information, and it's kind of a figure it out yourself type of thing. But I think when it comes to damage calculations, that shouldn't be a thing in the first place. Especially when they're writing the damage boost the same way in both places, and it's doing two different things. That's not something a player should have to do damage calculations to figure out. It's most likely a big issue in the characters' legacy passives and stuff as well, because they don't give any information about they don't give any information about like how much damage those are actually giving you. Most of them just say, after using a skill, increase your attack damage or something like that. And knowing that they do damage calculations in different ways could also mean that any of the... Oh, I didn't think that would kill me. Any of those damage increases could also be working in a different way than others. Wait, did Arakune just get pulled by the black hole? I don't know if I've seen that interaction before. He just got pulled again. Is that canceling one of his attacks, too? I am way too distracted. Also, not having triple dash in this fight is really rough. Like, I should be able to play around it, especially with, Icy's iframes, but it's something I'm not used to. I would never do this fight without triple dash if I wasn't in 100 entropy. Oh, there goes my last revive. This run might just be over. wish there was a better way to practice boss fights in this game. I realize that's not really, in the nature of roguelikes, though. They have the mind training mode, but... Or it's... Mind challenge, I think it's called. But those bosses tend to die too fast, in my experience. At least with the kind of, characters that I end up getting set up by the end of runs. I'd have to, like, intentionally make weak characters in order to do those without clearing them too quickly. And then now it also wouldn't even matter if I went and practiced them there, because the Transcended versions are different. I don't really mind, though, if I lose some runs trying to practice bosses. That's kinda how roguelikes are supposed to play out. You just gradually get better and better and farther as you clear runs. I at least have the, I have the game knowledge side of things down enough that I can clear these runs or get far enough in them without having the built-up skill to deal with the boss. Oh! Okay. That's not how I expected my run to end. That's a new one. But yeah, I have the game knowledge to get far in Transcended 100 runs. I just don't have the... I'm lacking the skill aspect of dodging ability, or dodging enemy attacks and dealing with the boss patterns. I think that's going to be my last run for today as well. I need to go and get some food. Is my... Okay, no, I thought my song display was frozen, but it's just not scrolling because the title's not long enough. But yeah, anyways. The Transcendent runs that I did beat, it was mostly through abusing really good setups, but it's a good practice session. As I get more used to the boss patterns and executing dodging stuff, then I'll get to the point of where I try them out without having some of the more broken stuff in the game. But for now, like I said, it was just a fun learning experience. Good change of pace from how badly I normally break the game. And it's probably something I'll do more often. But anyways, thanks to anyone that tuned in for the stream, and I'll see you guys around in